Hello, baby. If I were a carpenter and you were a lady, would you marry me anyway? Would you have my baby? If you were a carpenter and I was a lady, I'd marry you anyway. I'd have your baby. If I were a tinkerer, would you still find me? Would you be carrying my colored pots, following behind me? If you were a tinkerer, I'd follow behind you, and I'd save your loneliness. I'd be kind to you. Well, save your love through loneliness, save your love through sorrow. I'll give you my onlyness. Give me your tomorrow. All right, what's up, everybody? I always want to have intro music, but no, YouTube won't let me ever. And Henry Figueroa, I need to get back to you. I totally dropped the ball on those plant trimmings because they got eaten. Not exactly. What happened is I floated them in a tank. They got algae on them, and then my algae eaters did a number on them. Slash algae obviously started to grow on them because the light was like this close, and I had like cut them all and put them in the nice little bundles, and then I totally spaced when I saw your email. I was like, oh man, I got to explain this now, like within 48 hours. So I apologize for that, and thank you for the email, buddy. In case you're watching. But what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Luke is back from Japan. Yay, Mr. Findig organizer himself. What's up, Luke? How you doing, man? Aqua Negro, Henry Figueroa, Coro, Ben Sharp, 3G, Mel, Empire of Dirt Aquatics. Henry, what's up? Land Otterman, what's up? North Korea? Question mark. Mickey, what's up? Mickey Senior in Detroit. I'm Detroit. Mike, what's up? Yes, I saw Dr. Pepper overtook, or is at least tied with Pepsi as the number 2 spot. Which reminds me, what in the heck did I do? Oh, with the nectar. The nectar. Silver Creek, thank you so much, my friend. Being a member over 2 years. I know it's longer than that. You probably renewed before too. Hate how it loses track of that. But thank you very, very kindly. And I will share the name that you have bestowed upon me, we. Platinum Halfbeaks, huh? Cool videos from a cool guy. Yeah, I love Platinum Halfbeaks for sure. They are very pretty. Platinum is a color mod or morph that does occur in the wild. What it is it's iridophores, which are they're the little guys in the flesh of the fish and also in scales anywhere basically that there's pigment. And what it is it's a crystal. If you look under the microscope, maybe we'll do that at some point. I don't know if I have the right gear to look at it. Like we'd need to light it really well, and then I'd need to get a really, really sharp razor blade to get a nice cross section. But they're a single cell that builds like a little snow globe almost. And in that little snow globe, it is actually like pressure contained and liquid contained. It's a vacuum. And because of that, guanine and guarine cells are able to, or molecules are able to compound and build these crystals that end up creating an optic lens. They create a prism, and that is what makes, like the dark side of the moon logo, makes those colors shine when you see a fish that looks shimmery and silver. And there are different structures in different species and different sizes and things, and they all have different optical properties. So yeah, I don't know. I just think that oh, right, platinum fish. So the platinum fish have a disorder where instead of pigment cells, they pack in more of the iridophores. And that's why the platinum fish lack those intense colors. But those colors, iridophores, can also be suspended in a blue or yellow toned color. So a lot of times the platinum type fish, you'll see have a slight yellow or blue hue on their fins in the clear spots. And that's part of that mutation, which is selected for in some varieties. Now, the other thing that goes on with the iridophores and stuff is when they have melanistic fish, then that means that there's no iridophores a lot of times, and they just have melanin. They just have black. And that's pretty stunning when you see a fish that has no shimmer, no reflectivity, hardly. I mean, everything has reflectivity, pretty much, but yeah. They do make a paint called Vanta Black, and it was the darkest black paint for a long time. When you look at it, it actually like hurts your eyes if you're in person, and it looks like it's a hole in your vision. Like it looks like a hole to nothingness when it's painted on something. And they actually came out with a black that was like 0.1% darker black. It reflects so much light, or I mean, it absorbs so much light rather, that when they paint a box, it warms up the box because the outside is absorbing so much light. And the guy who first did it paid a UK firm a bunch of money to design it, and then he sold it for a ridiculous amount of money, like $28,000 an ounce. And so only he and a couple other guys could afford to use this on some art pieces. They were doing sculptures that they'd paint with it, and literally you'd look at the sculpture in person straight on, and you couldn't tell the form of the sculpture. It just looks like a black silhouette, unless like a really intense light shining on it in like a black room, and you're like right there to catch it just right. It sucks up that much light. And so all of that was going on, and people were making a big to-do about it in the art world about 10 years ago. So another guy out of the UK made a black that was darker, and he said that it was just the cost of production, no licensing fees, because that's the other thing. He put a copyright on the color black. And so yes, Henry, you get first dibs next time I'm selling plants for sure. And yeah, so he put a copyright on the color black and was charging $28,000 an ounce for a tube of it. Well, then this other guy came along and democratized it, charged just the cost. It was like, I think he made it $28 just to be funny, which was like $1 over cost or something. And he put it out, and it said everyone can buy this other than, what's his name? Sharek Roswami or something like that, or Babek Roswami, I want to say. Anyways, but it says on the package that everyone can use it other than him. And now they make like the pinkest pink and the most fluorescent yellow, and I mean they make all these crazy colors. Let's see here. Slay Whales, that's an interesting name. Oh, it's not spelled like the country either. I guess you got to nuke something. Johnny Best, what's up? Vinoski, what up? Jamie, hello. L Fish Tanks, cool videos for a cool guy. I know there can be wild shrimp colors and wild crayfish, but does a halfbeak? But does the halfbeak ever go to before created the but does the halfbeak ever? Oh, so are you asking what color the halfbeak is wild? It's the golden halfbeak. Now it's not the golden halfbeak. It's literally called the wrestling halfbeak, and its name unfortunately was synonymous as the golden. Here, I'll pull it up. Golden wrestling halfbeak. And halfbeaks are a really cool fish. Actually, they just discovered a new halfbeak as well, which I should try to find that. I just saw a post about that. But here, I'll show you the difference. So if we pull it up, okay, I think, is that the one? Why are there two windows open? Stop it, computer. Stop being bad, computer. Okay. Okay. Okay, so halfbeaks. The golden ones have an iridophore formation that makes them shimmer a little more golden. Like on the market, you'll see these ones, which are just essentially the same issue that we just discussed the optics of on these other kind of silver or platinum ones. But in the wild, they'll look like this, generally speaking. Oh, well, that's not great. Why can't I zoom in on anything? Because it defaults to Bing on this computer, which drives me up a wall. Let's just try wrestling. Let's get rid of the gold and see if we can get. Oh yeah, there we go. Probably gonna pull up the same picture, but real small. Is this the same? Of course, we can't get it to pull up full size, but you get the picture. I think they're semi-translucent. That is literally bigger here in the search than it is in the window that it pulls up. But these guys, there are probably a few, maybe a few dozen. I think known species. They're all in Southeast Asia, and they are weird in that they give live birth. They're the other fish that gives live birth in the hobby. I mean, there are a few weird fish that give live birth, but outside of the live bear, group. But these guys are very interesting fish, and the halfbeaks are actually another one that has been domesticated for over 1,000 years. They've been kept and they've been fought because it wasn't so much about wrestling to the death back in the day. It was about wrestling for the longest amount of time, whether it was a betta or fighting fish or a datinoid or any of the ones that have cultural history of being fought. It wasn't about inflicting, it wasn't a quote unquote blood sport so much. It was more about watching them like push each other back and forth and wrap around each other and try to like push the other one down. And then when the males would give up, just like they do in the wild, that's the end of that. Now, they didn't necessarily want fish to harm each other like that, because you'd have like a pro fish, you'd raise this little, yep, Vivek Ramaswamy, thank you. Wait, no, that can't be the same guy. Hold on. Now inquisitive minds must need to know. Vanta Black. What is that guy's name? I'm probably getting that confused with the politician. Making up things, Alex. Let's see here. Vanta Black. La 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 la. Why can't I find? You're on a side tangent, Alex, and this is how we learn things, guys. This is how we learn things. Trademarked as Vanta Black by Surrey Nanosystems. Anish Kapoor. I was way off on that name. Wow. And I totally did just think of the politician and butcher his name instead. So thanks for the the check, Silver Creek. It is here. I'll pull it up real quick again. So here is that Vanta Black thing where, yeah, it's a pigment that was so black you can't even conceive of it, man. So black. Hold on, let's pull this over here. See if it accepts that. Yeah. So somebody paid to have their whole car done with it in Dubai, and like it just hides the lines of the car. It's pretty crazy looking. Um, but that car gets hot. And somebody apparently, is this Lennon or something? Who is this? I don't know, maybe it's Shakespeare. I don't even know. Maybe it's a conquistador. But yeah, it makes the it makes things look so black that like they don't have the normal, like normally when you look at black, it's not a true black. That's the bottom line. Color is all an illusion. I'm gonna get on some trippy hippy dippy stuff here if we keep going down that path. Fish Dreams, what's up? Brian Day, what's up? Ben Sharp, yes sir. What's up? Also, I wanted to mention that um, Drabwire, hello, or Darbwire, hello. Mm. Any recommendations for a colorful top dweller for a 90-gallon that has a small rainbow shark? Denison Barbs. Um, uh, most top dwellers that I know that get like over 6 inches are pretty aggressive, even though there are some pretty colorful ones. But there are some larger sized killifish that may work. I'm trying to think like how big like a full grown blue galaris or something similar to that might be. Um, the shark might harm it though. Slate Wales is got a super chat here. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. It means a lot. Thank you for the hard work you put into your videos. They're my favorite. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming out. John Monroe, what's up? The halfbeaks that I had didn't have any gold color at all. They were very small and silver. This was 20 years ago. Might have been the platinum ones. They've been around a long time. The Are there known venomous freshwater snails? Yes. Which ones they are, I'm not 100% sure. I don't think there's any that I know of that I've heard of, which doesn't mean they don't exist. I just haven't heard of them. I don't know if there's any that are poisonous to the point where they're going to sting a human, but there are some that I know do kill with a little like harpoon, and they eat really small stuff. Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate that. Have a good night. Dean, yes, the other thing, so let me talk about one other thing. No, I have not kept Corey 153. I've not kept most of the numbered Corys. They're too expensive for me as much as I love them. Johnny Best, HabStacks, I'm going to show you guys HabStacks in a moment because I want people to know about them. I want to shout out there. Oh yeah, golden wonder killies could work. They get about 4 inches long. I mean, there's also golden top minnows. There's also the lined top minnow, which is incredibly beautiful. That's a U.S. native. There's a few native North American ones that would be hard to find unless you live in the like Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, maybe, and Florida, obviously. But yeah, kind of down in that deep south area, there are a number of really pretty fundulous species that are pretty great too, and that have a lot of color. Would you be interested in tissue culture would you be interested in tissue culturing? Um, yeah, I mean, I would be interested if anybody wanted to tissue culture it. I don't have a lab set up for that or anything. What would it cost to make a tissue culture? Well, if we had my buddy Jason from Redfish Bluefish, who's actually, that company is going out of business. He's had just a lot of family stuff, a lot of health stuff, and other than that, he's got a teenage son that he just decided, like, I got to spend time with my family. I don't want to be working all the time. And so his own success and not wanting to hire on a massive crew of people kind of limited his business, and he didn't want to be the guy being like, sorry, we're out of stock, sorry, we're out of stock. And he's just decided to kind of back away from it. But Yeah, Jason over at redfishbluefish.shop. Last I saw, there were some good deals. He had like 20% off, and then may have even gone higher than that this week or May. So I'd keep posted and see what he's clearing out. But he was a guy who was going full bore with tissue cultures. And if you watch some of my older videos, it's usually with him that I'm discussing them. And we went and picked up, I mean, hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of tissue cultures from customs from all over the world. And like he was trying out different things and learning about how to do them. And then finally he bought his own setup, his own laminar flow hood, and clean box and all this stuff. And was making some. But what is more difficult than anything about tissue cultures is finding the procedure for how long do you soak it in this hormone before putting it in the rooting hormone, before taking that cell cluster and putting it in a callus at what temperature for how many days, and then when do you divide that? Like that whole process is different for different species. And for aquatic species, it's really tricky. And so there's already really well known procedures for a lot of them that are out there, like the Anubias, honestly. So the Anubias would probably be pretty easy, but it would be hard with the other like species that people haven't tried yet. So whenever a new species comes out, I mean, there is a chance that they're guessing with close relatives. Like if it's a Logonandra, maybe they'll be able to do a Homolomena or a Boos or something like that. Oh yeah, Mark Pyle does have some amazing keely fish. Pyle Aquatics, good call. Let's see here. That's true. You could get a betta, but I don't know how they do with the rainbow shark. Rainbow shark might be a little too active for bettas. Hmm. Assassin snails are venomous, says Koro. Yeah, they're not going to like harm you, but exactly, they're venomous freshwater snail. Alex, when you get a moment, I have a Neo tank that is exploding, and I'm wondering when I should start selling out of the tank. It's a 5.5 gallon, heavily planted. Well, it's not so much when you should start selling, it's when you should stop selling from a tank. And I would say always leave yourself with like 20 female breeding condition, 20 females, um, and maybe 10 males or something like that. That would be good. Like if you could keep 20 to 30 fish or shrimp that are your like breeding stock, then you can sell like your juveniles. You can sell, you can sell some of the middle-aged ones. Just don't always sell middle-aged ones, um, or you're gonna run into that your old breed stock dies eventually. So sell maybe 3/4 of your mid-size ones, and then keep your best juveniles, like the best, what 4 or 5 juveniles each round. That's what I would recommend. Now, in a 5.5 gallon tank, I've bred over 100 neocaradinas. So I don't know how many you have, but I would say you're okay. You just want to make sure that you've got enough that you've got probably 10 females breeding, I would say, for that not to collapse. Um, let's see here. Um, Any tips on breeding Epistogramma hongslowii? Those are very nice. They come in a lot of varieties. Most of them are a domestic collection variety now. And I would say the best advice for almost all Epistos is to just give them a good habitat. Sometimes it helps to have 2 females for 1 male, but really having a good habitat, having tannins in the water, giving them a cave. If things aren't working, try changing the water and moving some caves around. Low TDS, ideally, 6.0 pH or even lower, and dim lighting, live food. Those are really like the things you should know. You don't need to change the water a ton for them to spawn, but it does seem to help. As long as you're changing it into softer water, that is. And then botanicals are another great thing. And that's really true with a lot of things. Um, yeah, a lot of different fish, a lot of different small cichlids, even like nanofish, they all kind of like that. Uh, Tissue cultures are a great way to get some really nice plants cheaply if you don't mind the acclimation process. That's true. Uh, but scaling up that, so being able to sell tissue cultures, that is a bit tricky in that you need the lab and you need the procedure for the species. And then once you have that, yeah, you can have a callus and you can just grow them out at the speed of sprouts, at the speed of an adult plant growing at its finest. Um, and they're all identical clones. Uh, oh, the Pontanal umbrella pistos, Mike says. Yeah. Um, you know, Moonlight Aquatics is going to be taking over some of the similar kinds of fish that he was buying, and that's kind of why I partnered with the young guy, Chang. I'll call Jason the old guy, and I'll call Chang the young guy. But Chang owns Moonlight, and I never had a code with Jason's store. He didn't really like to do sales. He just wanted to be like, "What you see is what you get. My prices are what they are." And he paid top dollar for his fish coming in, and then had kind of a standard profit margin set. Pretty straightforward. No bells and whistles on that to worry about. Um, so I'll be curious what you guys decide about this targeted venom thing. I do know that like venom needs to be targeted at something. In that venom from any creature, uh, there's poison, which means if you eat it, it will make you sick. And then there's venom, which needs a form of envenomation or generally puncturing. However, there are some weirdos like Komodo dragons that likely have a venom and or a bacterial component that just needs to get in a cut or a bite. Gila monsters, I think, are like that too. They don't really have like any syringe-like teeth or anything. They just have to bite you and get in the same cut. They have to kind of bite you twice, I guess. Even one bite's not good, but like the second bite's the big problem. And you can set up a lab for around 250. Yeah, right on. Waiting for Burley. You can have an RV out back we can use. I think a group of 4-inch killifish would have issues with a group of angels. Maybe 6 angels, unless you think I could get away with less. Oh, you could get away with 5 angels. You could get away with 3 angels. Angels are fickle. When they're young, if you get them and they're all the same batch when they're young, they'll usually grow up and get along better in general than when you go to the store and you buy one, you buy another one somewhere else, you buy another one somewhere else because they're all pretty in different ways. Those tend to end up like Thunderdome tanks. Not always, but they do. If they're really young, it's okay. But if they're any bigger than like, you know, this, that's probably getting in the territory of like it could be, they could start fighting once they start to mature. I have not, Dionysus. I have not grown that plant. I actually don't even know that plant. Um, but so targeting venom though, like ground hedgehogs and squirrels oftentimes are not affected by the venom of rattlesnakes, for instance. They get like a drunken look once in a while if they get really nailed, but they'll keep going after the rattlesnakes. So there's like an example of where they've gotten used to the venom, but then in other parts, the rattlesnakes have a venom that gets their cousins up farther in the Rockies, and actually does affect them. So it's kind of like an arms race, and I think that happens in the wild a lot, especially when there's one species that likes to hunt one other species, or vice versa, one species getting hunted by another species. Evergreen Psyche, what's up? Uh, let's see here. Just Joe, what's up? Should I use catappa or avocado leaves for cherry shrimp? I'm nervous about a pH with the catappa. If you put one catappa leaf in, you'll be fine. Like you probably won't have a big pH swing. If your tank is, let me say that again. If you're using RO water, then you need to be careful with anything. If you have a little bit of buffer, just a little bit of buffer, like a tablespoon of crushed coral, even a chunk of cirrus stone or something like that, even a cubic, uh, I don't know, a cubic, a quarter kilo. I'm just making up units now of limestone. You should be fine. But if your water has like 0 TDS, 0 KHGH, then yeah, your botanicals are going to drop that quick to like 5 or 4. Your RO water will drop like that on its own, anyways. Stan. Uh, Yeah, Mel reminds everybody to hit that like button. That's something I try to do now because somebody made the point the other day. Like just hit it on the way in, and then like if I totally annoy you and I fail, then just unclick it on the way out. um, oh, and I saw the question about substrates, but first I want to show you something. And I said the whole point of this episode. Oh, my back is so. Oh, sorry guys. Um, I said the whole point of this episode was show you new fish, so we will get to that. But I got to show you. I got a rudimentary version of the HabStacks, which is the system out of the UK right now on Kickstarter. I just did a community post about this because I got this last night in the mail. But it interlocks with these channel locks, which is cool. And you basically got an outer sheath here. And each one of these has 3 rows and a top. That essentially this is a pot. And it's just like those strawberry pots where if you've seen those strawberry pots where the strawberries grow out of the sides, this is designed to put your aquatic plants in it. So rhizome plants can go right into this all around it, and then you can tuck it in the corner, and it looks like your whole corner of your tank is like lush and tall, and you can get structures that only like old growth Java fern would look like. Now, in the center here, there is actually a special column that, so if you're not just doing rhizome plants like Boost and Anubias and bulb plants, I guess, then you can feed root tabs and aqua soil in the center here, and they'll reach for this. And it's really fine grading. And I'm guessing that the roots in some of these species may bust through it. I'm curious. There's not going to be enough time to tell that before I want to make the video, because I just want to give him a shout out. There's 17 days left on his Kickstarter, and I've done 2 Kickstarters for the books I've published, pre-orders basically. And these are actually, he 3D printed these over in the UK and sent them to me because I said, yeah, I'll give you a shout out. I think that's an awesome idea. And I have some feedback for him on like what I'd love to see. And then they got this base, and you can use them like Legos basically, or whatever you want to call it, Lincoln logs. And you can stack them up as high as you want, like 6 feet. But it allows you to make kind of these little skyscrapers of plants that are super densely planted. And what I think is really cool about it, and these are called, let me just tell you too, these are called, hold on one sec. I just saw something that I want to be careful with because, yeah, he 3D printed these. And so they're a little fragile right now on this direction. But what he's trying to do a Kickstarter for right now is he's trying to do a Kickstarter to raise money in order to actually make these things make this dream a reality, in the sense of he can get them printed in an injection mold for a lot cheaper and sell them a lot cheaper. But I mean, there's so many ideas that I had, because then you can put this top piece on and this base piece. But this top piece, you can then put in and fill with substrate too, or it can feed down into the substrate. So you can either have a nice little pillar that's got soil on top, and I think what they should offer is maybe even like a shelf that could connect these into an arch, or into like you have one grow out pile on one side, and then you could have your one that's stacked too tall. I'm going to do a video on this, guys, don't worry. But it's a cool system, and I don't want to bust it because, you know, like I said, it's 3D printed. It's pretty rough and tough already with 3D printing, but you know, I've got this many to play with. I've got 3 essentially. Come on, there we go. My white albino face makes them show up again. So yeah, we could basically put this earth in here, the substrate or root tabs or whatever, and then essentially they're kind of still water column feeders for a little bit, but they should reach towards that. So that's what I'm really curious to see, is how well that actually works, like, you know, over time, because there's actually quite a bit of a gap here in the center. And at first I was puzzled by it, but now I realize it's so that, one, there's room for rhizome plants and things, but 2, you can also feed the plants through this way when you first get them and push them out through these little slots. And these slots are angled enough that he's played with it for a number of years, apparently, and they kind of push the plant up and above so the plants won't grow into each other. But yeah, I think these things are pretty cool. And in the community tab, there's a link. And then also Matt's Fish Shop Matt over in the UK, his YouTube channel, he did a video on these too. So I don't know what more I'll have to offer in my video, but I just wanted to shout it out because I love truly independent, you know, and creative ideas, especially like this is 3D printed. And I think it's so cool that, you know, someone took it upon themselves to be a tinkerer, to be a creator, and to actually make what they were dreaming of. I just have so much respect for that. So I'd love to see it happen. I know it is expensive to get the initial molds made, and I think he's got some other ideas up his sleeves too, about like maybe ones that are bigger for bulb plants, for like, you know, a big old Aponogeton that wouldn't quite fit in here. And also maybe a wall that just slides in the back, like things like that. My mind is like running amok, and I want to like sketch down ideas and have someone copy me just so I can go buy the things. But yeah, that is this HabStack is the name of this again, by the way. Hold on, guys, let me scroll down. I've lost the chat. You guys are so chatty, you chatty Cathys. And I saw something else while I was scrolling. Natalie B, we got a new member. Thank you so kindly, Natalie. It really does make all the difference. Memberships or Patreon memberships. I mean, either way, even at, you know, even at that $1.99 level, it means the world to me. In that it's a stable pay. So I really do appreciate that. In that it, like months like this month when things are really slow, it makes me still want to do those deep dive videos. It makes me want to do a video that I know may only get 1,000 views, but it's an hour long. And some of you are going to be like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to learn about. And other people are going to be like, that is the most boring niche topic I've ever heard in my life. But I refuse to change that aspect of the channel. Okay, so if you asked a question earlier, I'm really sorry that I missed it. But I'm right now, I just saw, wow, a super chat again. Thank you so much. Fluorescent Beta says, do interspecies, intergenus hybrids exist for glowfish? How far and wide can I spread the fluorescing gene? Well, you can cross that gene into a whole lot of different fish, scientifically speaking. What's that? Did you say something? Yeah. Okay. But you can spread that gene into a whole lot of different fish, scientifically speaking, as they've done. As now there's glow angels, and Oscars are the next one. Rumor has it. Now I'm gonna toot my own horn here again. I don't always toot my own horn, but today I'm gonna, and you're gonna watch. So it's gonna be about the fact that the glow quarries and the glow angels. I told y'all about that 4 years ago. Told y'all about that 2 years ago, and here they are. Um, here for the 1,000-hour deep dive, says Nancy B in Tennessee. Thank you, Nancy. I know you've been here since the start. You rock. But the thing with the fluorescence and all that with the glowfish genes is that they are going to stay by genus most of the time. Now, there are a few exceptions in the fish world where, like, hormonally, you can force things, like the sturgeon and the paddlefish. Like, what in the heck was that all about? I don't know if you guys saw that, but a fish from, like, literally hundreds of millions of years apart managed to still cross and have babies in the lab. I mean, they did it in a lab, but still, yes. But I do need to do a video on Madagascar lace. I feel I didn't do one, did I? No, I did one on a couple other aponogetons, or as some French people say, apongeton. But let's see here. As far as the betas go, you're gonna get the beta splendens complex, and then there's other genus obviously in the beta world, but the betas kind of come in their clades and in their genuses that are fairly rigid as far as we know. Now there's like Stictos, there's Maha chiensis, there's Beta Siam or ornamentalis, and then there's Imbelis and Splendens, and there's one other one in there that I'm missing on the list. But those are the ones that are common to Beta Splendens, the common domestic beta, alien betas, all that kind of stuff that would interbreed. Now, I don't know for sure if that gene would cross over, but my guess is it probably would. But what you'd need to do, because I don't think it's a dominant gene, it's a pretty novel gene, is if you crossed it over, you'd probably need to cross it with another beta, hope that it got the gene, then those fish's babies you would want to cross back with the original fish or another glowfish, and then that glowfish might have 25% of them having that, because I think it's a simple gene in the sense that it's like it wipes everything clean, but it is a recessive. It may be dual recessive though. In that case, you might need to do that like several times. But eventually you'll start throwing babies that some, if it does transfer, would have it. Interesting idea. Do you submerge the waffle plant for a week at a time? Oh, somebody else growing a waffle plant underwater? Oh yeah. Waiting for Burley says, I use stainless steel silverware holders from a commercial kitchen, and I put moss on the outside on them for the natural look. I have peace lilies, waffle plants, monster. Oh, that's all on the outside. Gotcha. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool to make your tanks look natural like that. Big Steve, Glass Box Creations. You've been a membership wait, never mind. I'm reading something wrong. But you gifted a membership, and I really appreciate that. That is very kind of you. Someone will get the gift of knowledge, maybe. Am I that arrogant that I think that I'm giving everyone the gift of knowledge? Yes, I am. Timothy Timotheos Lee. Is that it? Man, I'm gonna see your name and think of Timothy Leary. I apologize if that's a bad thing to you, but I don't mean it in any bad way. But anybody know what type of beta is most personable? Least I would say is the macrostoma. They're mean as all get out. They kill each other all the time. They attack the glass all the time. They got big mouths. They're not a little betta. They're like 6 inches long sometimes. They're gnarly. They're more of a snakehead than a betta. They're beautiful. They're interesting. I've kept them. But I think that betta embolus are great, really peaceful. Betta rubra I've had good luck with. Alba marginatas I've had good luck with. Maha chiensis I've had good luck with. Pretty much most of them are at least as kind as a domestic betta. And if you put them in a biotope tank, even a domestic betta, especially if it's like a plakat, so it doesn't have big fins to get torn up as easily. If it's a plakat, natural bodied betta, they do they're not like this psycho fish like people think. They can live together. Atkins has been a member. Ian has been a member for 37 months. Holy cannoli. Wow. Much love. Much love to you too, buddy. Thank you for the support, man. And Natalie B, glad to support the channel and thank you for your knowledge you share. Yeah, Natalie, I really do appreciate that. Thank you again. Fish Family Bot is in here. Hello, Fish Family Bot. Andrew Sharon got the new membership. Did you join or did you get it? It doesn't matter. Either way, welcome, buddy. Check out the community tab. There is extra stuff in there where it says members only posts. Well, there's those, but there's also all posts. And sometimes those will happen when I'm featured on another channel or something. And if you go there, it shows them all to community members, stuff that you would normally be able to see. That's usually like a private post. I've made it so that's all available. All the backlog of that stuff is available for members. Brian D says, I have glowfish Danios and I was glad the colors remained true when mixed. Yeah. It also seems to be inherited from the mother. I believe that to be the case. I have seen some at a local store where they've allowed them to breed, illegally or whatever. This little mom and pop store that's been in Seattle forever, but they have allowed some of the Danios and the Priscilla tetras to just like do their thing for generations, and been selling some glowfish out of there. But they have some that are like piebald, where they have only partial glow. And I don't so much think that that's the glow gene only partially expressing. I think it's another gene over that gene, like the piebald or like some sort of partial melanism or something, or a leucistic gene that is overthrowing that. But yeah, they've seemed to stay fairly true, but it just seems like it's recessive from what I can gather. That's all. Just joined. Right on, Andrew. Thanks, buddy. Welcome aboard. Welcome to everyone. You don't need to join to be welcome and to be Silver Creek says Achilles over bettas. Prove me wrong. Yeah. I don't know. I can't get into that. I can't get into that. I think I like bettas more lately. I just like baby bettas. I like looking in there and seeing all the little babies. You want to make a giant Danio using hybridization versus CRISPR? That is like here. That technology is definitely here. How far can a skirt tetra breed with? I don't know that one. Generally the tetras don't cross. Like you're not going to see a cross between like the Hyphosobricon, even though it's a giant genus with like 150 species. They're not really that. Yeah. Thanks, Ian, buddy. You said by far your membership at the lowest level is the best bang for your buck for learning. Really, if a kid comes to me, they're in high school or college or whatever, if an elderly gentleman, a sir comes to me, a ma'am comes to me and says, I really just want to learn, can you share that paper with me? Like, yes, I'm gonna do that. I am a sucker. No, I don't mean it like that, but I mean like I've been there. I've been broke. I've wanted to learn. So like the barrier is more to just like keep the lights on. And some people choose to go above and beyond to support that mission, and I appreciate that just a lot. But again, I don't look down or think anything less of any situation where people aren't. So I hope it doesn't come off like that. Oh, you joined the $5 level. Well, thank you even more. Uh, I mean, I do ask questions from time to time. Like I'll do a poll, like which topic do you guys want to talk about next, to just a certain level of sub members or subscribers. But hello, honey. What's up? Do you want to look? This is my wife. My wife. Um, and she's squeezing me. You're gonna go for a walk. You don't want to look at the first fish that we're gonna look at? You did not see it. We're looking. There's nothing on the screen, honey. Good try. Um, that's my wife. All right. So yeah, she's a ghost lady. It's this background. I need to get an actual green screen because like a black cloth, things like that don't work so well. Even like a blue cloth or whatever, any sort of contrasting cloth. I think they're designed for green. Blue and green, like blue or green, something in that tone. So let's see some fish. Let's look at some fishies. All right. There's the first one, I believe, is by my buddy, Valerio Urbano. Let's see here. Come on. Dan's Fish is the place to be. Oh, okay. Here we are. Here's the fish. Brown. So this is a recently discovered fish in Italy. And it is pretty cool. Looks a lot like a dojo loach, but I think it's prettier. And it can withstand cold because it's in Italy, found in central Italy. And also found all the way down to the boot, but not into the islands. So pretty cool. Really pretty kind of spotting, but man, does it ever look like a dojo loach to me. I have seen so many of similar fish that are just a little bit duller coming out of Turkey lately. There are literally, I mean, man, there are so many hundreds of them loaches out of Central Asia that look just like a dojo loach, except for like they have one fin ray that's different on like their pectoral fin. It is bonkers. They just found, I think there's a total now of 12 out of Turkey alone. John is throwing ideas out there. Where did Laura go? She went to Mexico. It wasn't far enough, so she went to Rio. Oh, where did Laura go? So long ago. All I know how to rhyme is a go. Anyways, yes. Let's look at the next. When they first discover these fish, they don't tell you a whole lot about them. So don't tell you a whole lot about the fish. There are some cool things. I love the guy who is behind Fish News. His powers of conglomeration. By my powers of conglomeration. Pretty incredible. Like all the things that he digs through and that people now know to submit to him. Everyone on the Twitter world of fish, which is okay, Twitter world is not that fishy, but the people that are on there are pretty much all professors and they share a lot of stuff. An Italian fish, you want to hear its Latin name? Its Latin name was like Corbatum. What was it? We can go back. Do, 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 do. Latin name is Corbididae ferroniae. Corbididae ferroniae. That's a beautiful name. I don't know what it means. Probably something about Italy. Prospective invasive species. That's right. Darters. Darters are incredibly beautiful fish. A little difficult to keep in a tank unless you got big tanks. That's the only thing that's tricky with them. That and they like the cold season, I think. But like man, a dusky darter or man, there's some pretty ones out there. Johnny darters, yeah, pretty cool. Orange throated, candy stripe, um, Tennessee. Let's see, darters great. To watch if you have more than 20. Yeah, Silver Creek, totally. So many fish are like that where they are like, oh, cool, you got a fish that sits there. And then you put like 30 in a big tank that's got the substrate they evolved with. And it's like, never mind. They do this like symphony every night. They do this like swirling pattern together. And then they all like pile up in a group. And then they like sift through the sand like methodically. And, it's just crazy the things you see when you put a fish in its habitat rather than just throw it in a box. So yeah, gobies. Well, I think Jesus, we got some more gobies coming. Aquazen says, big fan of school, a fan of big schools. Yeah. Christopher Junkin, hello. The old blue colored killie loaches were dyed and it eventually wore off. Yeah, they used to do that with a lot of fish. I never actually saw the blue killie loaches. That's kind of an interesting one to dye. But here we've got another Northobranchius, all the Cameroon, Aphosimian, Epic Plat. Wait, why are those all? I guess it crosses them, but it's showing the distribution in Africa of Sri Lanka. Wait, what just happened here? Oh no, that's okay. So this is one article about the African Epiplatus aphosimian killifish in Cameroon and the color patterns. And this other one is like all you could ever want to know about the genetics of the killifish from southern Sri Lanka, from this corner of Sri Lanka. I was reading that paper and I was like, whoa, this is over my head. It's a lot of like DNA stuff. Okay, so here's another species, new Hyphosobricon, and they're going to call it citrus. I can't believe that wasn't already taken, but that's cool. This is from Sierra do Cachimbo, and yeah, it looks like a lemon tetra to me. It's got kind of an orange half eye. The adipose fin is a nice yellow. I don't know. I'd be curious to see how yellow it actually is. A lot of times when they take a picture of a fish like that, it's like, meh, it's kind of yellow. All right, so get ready for a lot of Chinese fish. May was the month of Chinese fish. They led a big expedition at the end of last year into the Zhejiang province, and Zhejiang, and I guess it's called the Qiangtang Jiang Basin. Right here, this one. And there are a whole bunch of limestone caves. And this is a fish that is not yet fully cave fished itself yet. What just happened? Okay. And yeah, so this guy is an interesting one in that it still has its eyes and everything. Its whiskers are getting longer. But what's interesting is that they didn't find a outsider that looked similar. So it's probably long gone from wherever before it entered the caves. Now, look at this Goliath tigerfish. I showed you guys this on my channel a long time ago, but somebody reposted it recently. Goliath tigerfish, nailing a bird mid-flight, full speed. And those things have the gnarliest teeth ever. All right. Come on. What did I do? What did I do? Okay. So another cave fish, same province. These are weird. These are the ones that have the caved in sinus, but this may be a relative before it had the caved in sinus. These guys, yeah, they're weird looking. Definitely weird looking fish. And they are looking at their skeleton and things. And I think part of what they're looking at is their pharyngeal in here teeth, and they're wondering like what they're eating, and they think that they're eating like little things off the bottom of the cave floor that are very like what do you call little like crustaceans and like scuds and stuff like that. Um, but really a gnarly new fish. And it has the indent in the sinus, and the sinus is starting to show it dissolving essentially. So it doesn't look like the cleft sinus fish that are out in rivers and that are in several other caves in Asia. But again, look at this: 4 new species of little loachy catfish. Um, yeah, 4, and an albino. And again, they've got their pharyngeal teeth. They're not small though. They're not that small because their pharyngeal teeth are 2 millimeters for the smallest and 10. So a full millimeter or a full centimeter long in their throat. So that must be a good, I don't know, 6-inch to 8-inch long fish. Very similar to like a dojo loach. All of those. Again, out of the Paraiba River del Sol, they have, or Rio del Sol, they have all of these whiptails coming out. This year, I'm telling you, new species of weird eels and whiptails, they're being able to actually tell things apart due to genetics. So here is, yet another one. Here's one from South America. There are these flat plecos, and they're starting to enter the hobby more and more too. This is like a swamp eel knife fish kind of weird thing. They don't know, for sure yet. I guess they're going to decide on that. But it is an electric fish. So I'm going to say it's probably going to be a knife fish. But yeah, this one doesn't have an official name, but its closest relative is the gyno or gonotiformis hypopomediae. All right, this is kind of cool. This is a pup fish or a goby, but this was found in a limestone sinkhole in Sulawesi. So on the island of Sulawesi, in a sinkhole, it's like a Dr. Seuss book. Start off like, on a speck of dust in the universe, in a house, there's a who. And on that who's, whatever. But yeah, these, I don't know, again, a lot of times this place, it's a good place to know where to get the drop. And then you can click right here. If it's locked, then you usually need a login key, but not always. But usually that's the case. And then usually I'll email whoever published it and try to get them to spill the beans. Again, a new species of cave fish from that same cave in China. Very interesting flat nose fish. Still has a eye that can sense light and dark. If I use this the one, the Sihengensis is the one that still it has a vestigial light sensing eye, but that's all it can tell is light or dark. Can't see anything coming at it or anything. Now I don't think they've done much genetic testing in this cave, but it appears as though the limestone had been carved out for millions of years. and somewhere between 6 and 10 million years ago, at last I heard they were guessing, uh, a lot of these caves were interconnected, and then probably some collapsed, and there's probably a large amount of fish stuck underground, essentially in like aquifers and things that have made their own life for them, because there are so many creatures in these caves. It's absolutely bonkers. Also, the thing is, they publish fossil fish and stuff in here. So, like, this shows Montana. No, we don't have a new Montana fish, just fossil fish. Here's another one from Turkey, though. That's that team working in the Euphrates River. Again, it looks just like a dojo loach. So many versions of dojo loaches. Who would have thought that they're all different? Again, there's a paper out that talks about how old. Well, I'll save that for later, but it talks about how old plecos are. Now, this is a bummer in that it's a new species, but it's also dead in the wild as far as they know. I think 97, is this the one that died in 97? Let me see here. Hold on, guys. Let me double check. I was gonna do a whole episode on this, and then I decided that probably like 5 people would watch it, and I didn't have a whole lot of visuals for it. But it is 1955 originally collected, and then they collected again in 63, 96, 97, yeah, 81. Oh, and in 2000 is the last time they reported finding it, and then it was gone. But they finally got to classifying it in the halls of um, what do you call it? In some jar of whatever formaldehyde, this beautiful rainbow colored fish. Can I make it much bigger? Let's see here. This just stunning fish, rainbow colored. I mean, look at that thing. It's got yellow, green. You can't. I don't know if you can make it out, but it's got a blue eye, and the blue and green fins up front with some purple. I mean, or scales. It's absolutely incredible. And it's a Malagodon. It's a cypriniform, with vestigial ties to the continent. And it's Madagascar. I bet it's not extinct. No, I don't know. Madagascar's having a real hard time. Nobody's seen it since 96 in the wild. The last live specimen died in 2000, but they did get to. Yes, I did see the Loricaridae fossil and Pleco fossil, Corridora fossil. They've known Corridoras were old, but now they're realizing that like Plecos go back all the way to Africa. I was thinking about talking about that. And interesting. They found a blind cave catfish in Texas. They think it came from underground tunnels in Mexico. There are a lot of underground tunnels, both natural and man-made, in Mexico and on the Mexico border. But down in the cenotes and stuff, there's a lot of different weird and wacky, wonderful things going on, I suppose you could say. That's not what I wanted to do. This, then this, no, no. There we go. Let's see here. So plecos, they just did this big study on them right here. So plecos, Loricaridae family goes back to the Cretaceous. As far as they can prove now, it's 99 million years, right there from this branch. And then if you look at
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, Loricariidae, 98 million years looks like the branch that I'm seeing, and the Corydorus broke off 105 years ago, but then it's 65 to 58 million years ago that Corydorus started to form, and then all the other woodcats and things formed. If you can see that right here. And then the Corydorus, that split occurs right here at 58 million years. Some people say 65 where the dinosaurs went out. But then we've got like all the Danios and things, which split off all the way back in the Jurassic 150 million years ago. And then we get this whole siluriform, man, I can never say this. Siluriforms fish. That's all these basically the kind of scaly, bony fish. These guys all come from back right here in the 157 million year old is where the first branch off is. And then you're getting into all the cariforms also right here. You got your loaches and things, a lot of them here. But it looks like the pleco, as far as this new published research goes. And oh, what was really cool was this. So I was going to do a whole episode on this, but now I just figured that one, nobody watched my cichlid episode. Like I think I don't know, I think it was like maybe 700 or 800 people even got told about it probably. But I love that they put a little comment there. There's some humor on the part of science. But you can see here that when it was Pangaea Gondwana breaking up, you can see how South America was attached here. Well, there was a point when that was nestled together tighter around 140 million years ago where the Amazon and the Congo were one continuous river, the longest river in the history of the planet, biggest volume in the history of the planet by far, both accounts. And then over here you got all those fish that we were looking at, the whiptails and the cichlids, or not cichlids, sorry guys. Cichlids came over. Cichlids, watch the episode on cichlids if you want to know about cichlid, how they got from Africa to the New World. There's a lot of controversy there. But here we've got that it looks like the Loricariidae, or this ancestor, Pleco ancestor, Cori ancestor, all sorts of things, started somewhere in like Algeria, modern day Algeria or Morocco, and then worked its way through the rivers here, through Lake Chad, most likely, which was massive and there for a long time. And it hasn't been for 15,000 years. No, not that long, 7,000 years. Lake Chad was a massive lake, very shallow, but massive, in the middle of the Sahara. And there was kind of a jungle-y oasis vibe going. Kind of, well, a little hotter than Lake Victoria even. But that's back when like Egypt was forming, like before the pyramids even, like about 1,000 years or 2,000 years before the pyramids, Africa had massive lakes up in the Sahara. And then they all dried up, and all those civilizations are covered in sand now. Not like Egypt covered in sand, like covered in a mile of sand. It's really crazy. If it isn't happening already, I know Corridor's lineage is all being reclassified. Well, that's what's going on right here in this paper that just got done. Evergreen Psyche says, "I love your cichlid video. Been wanting to watch it again. Thanks." Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, the cichlid video goes into the fact that all cichlids start in Africa, and then all of a sudden they're in the New World. Now those two things were connected, and there's like some connection, but then there's like a missing trail. It's kind of a mystery. You'll have to watch the episode because we still don't know for sure. So we think we have a good idea at this point, but we don't know for sure. All right. So moving on down. Hey, speaking of beta macrostoma, largemouth fighting fishes. Fighting fishes, that doesn't look like a correct way to do that, but it probably is. More freaky bumblebee catfish, whiptail, weird catfish. So more relatives of plecos. More relatives of plecos. Not much to see here. No eyes. And this is the subterranean pencil catfish. A siluriform. But yeah. Oh, this is cool. This is not another. This is not a new fish, obviously, but this channel published it anyways. Look where they live. It's so gnarly. It's like foggy and misty and tropical, really crazy. These are the Ghat Mountains, Western Ghat Mountains. Kind of, if you know where Goa is in in India, it's on the southwest side of the subcontinent. And these guys, they're finding like over 200 species of crabs there. Now the twist, these aren't those little colorful crabs that everybody's getting into, like Aquatic Arts has a bunch of them. They have a bunch of the ones from Borneo and stuff too. But the twist here is this is a new genus, and I'm going to call them the peptobismal crabs. Mr. and Mrs. Ghat. Yeah, they don't have a name or anything yet, so we'll have to wait on that. Now, now, this is kind of interesting in that Museum Genomics reveals a hybrid origin of an extinct crater lake endemic. So in Australia, 2 of these rainbow fish hybridized in a lake that was a crater lake. So that means it filled up with water after it was a volcano. And those are very prone to endemic fish because a lot of times a river will flow into it or rain will fill it and fish get dropped into it or their eggs do if it's near a coast or near birds. And all of the sudden, those fish live in the lake and start, getting a little antsy to take up different niches. Wow. So here we go. A cool new species of Schindleria nana. These are probably the ugliest gobies we've ever seen. They're a pedomorphic goby species, and they retain their larval features throughout their life. Here, it's got a gut with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 eggs, and this must be a female. But pedomorphic means they stay like a baby. I'm not even going to heart that. No, I'm just kidding. But what an ugly fish. And it looks like they stained it too. It's probably clear. Probably just looks like, I'm assuming it's extremely small. And I am curious. So it's from Australia. Of course it's from Australia. Weirdo fish. That's not going to be one that's hot in the pet hobby anytime soon, I don't think. Also, new species, 2 of them, catfish from the man, I can't talk again. Heptapetrid group of catfish in the upper Orinoco and the upper Negro where they meet kind of in the flood region in between. But here we've got some new catfish. Yet again, kind of these amorphous, loachy, whiptaily, leech-looking catfish. I can see why nobody did the hard work of classifying all these because this is way more exciting, right? It is like looking at the patterns of tetras and the color things. That's way more exciting than looking at a bunch of these. But people like Rebecca Bentley, friend of the channel, someone's got to do it, and she's that someone. I have faith that she will carry our generation, or the generation below me actually, into the future, because she loves those weird flat wormy fish, and she's all about the taxonomy, and that's super cool because someone's got to be. So this one is Monocharodon duda, and from I haven't even tried to say that word. Giabero River in the Orinoco Basin of Colombia. New little fish. It's cute. I like it. It's got little silver speckles on it. Probably won't be hot in the hobby, but southern Colombia is getting all sorts of love right now because we just don't know so much. New species of piranha, that's big news. I mean, this came out March, but Cirrusalamus Maglanesi. Man, I can't do the Latin today, guys. I'm just struggling. A struggle bus on the Latin. Yeah, I'd love to see the Orinoco. I'm good friends with Ivan Mikolji, and he's taking a lot of pictures there right now, and eventually he wants to end up doing something else, but he spent his life taking pictures there. He knows that river like the back of his hand, at least the southern part, or not southern, but the lower part of the river by the cities. And he's been going up to the upper remote parts, and it's pretty incredible. Ivan and I are going to be going together to the redwoods in June. He wants to see the redwood forest. I said I'd take him. We're both going to be speaking. Hopefully we can stream it live too, maybe through the Sacramento Fish Club. But we have a big announcement that we've been working on for two and a half years, I guess. Featherfin Film says, for me, I can say all of the Latin names, but I struggle with normal words. Yeah, that's when you spent too much time in fish world. Yeah, so I'll be promoting it any day here too, more. But Findig, it's going to be Gary Lang talking about rainbow fish, Samantha West about metallic live bearers, Tom Barr about something Tom Barr talks about, Ivan Mikolji and I, and we are going to both have a talk, and then we're also going to have a panel together, and there's a rare fish auction. There's also vendors. I'm sure there'll be everything else debaucherous that has to do with, a fish keeping group. So I'm sure that the hotel, what do you call it? Not the amenities room. Maybe it is called that. The bar, the hospitality room. That's the word I was looking for. Will be busy. I'm sure people will be having a good time. Gary Lang is there. Then it's always a party, right? But I've never met Tom Barr in person, and I've read his stuff online for over 20 years, so I'm excited. What is my talk going to be on? I can't release that yet, but I wish I could. And my talk and Ivan's talk are going to be kind of similar. And then we have a panel together where we're going to go over what we're announcing, because we started a nonprofit 4 years ago now. Yeah, 4 years ago now. And he has a series of 5 books coming out about the Orinoco. Everything from the trees, the plants, the geology and geography, and on specifically orchids, trees, shrubs and plants, and then aquatic plants, and then the fish. So, and he already has the fish book out, and that's what he's working at. Oh, cool. Tom spoke at your meeting Saturday. He was awesome. Which meeting or which club are you at, D-Rock? If you'd like to, okay, here we go. Luke, my man. If you'd like to donate a single bag of rare fish to the auction, All proceeds go to the Green Earth Alliance. Please reach out to Luke Wang by any method. Luke, I am your father. Oh, Massey. Oh, it was Scape in Southern California. Oh, that's cool. I talked to them in August. Was that August? No, July. And then I will be talking to Massey in September, and I will be talking to Kansas City. That's so confusing to me because they're in Missouri, and then there's the Missouri Fish Club. Anyways, both in the same month, and they thought I was going to be in the same area, but different months. So I should have planned that better, but then I would have missed Findig. So yeah, don't want to do that. Another the Z. What's up? Am I coming to Chicago? I wish I was. I love Chicago. I want to come back to Chicago, especially in the spring, summer, or fall. Sometime I can collect fish. Yeah, ask your club about that. Ask Jason about that of prime time, because he had mentioned, he's like, oh, we'd love to have you out. And when I was there last time for the AGA with Luke, and that was kind of the last I heard of it. And I was hoping to go to Aquachar. That again, I had talked, I'll let it out. I don't want it to be any drama, but there's been a couple times now where, and maybe it just happens to everyone. Everyone's busy. I get that. But there's been quite a few times now where I get like a call, a text message, and an in-person confirmation of, dude, you should come out to this or that. And then a week or two passes, and I reach out to them, and they're like, oh, yeah, we'll talk about it later. And then a month later, it's like they don't answer anymore. I'm not saying that about Jason. I'm just saying that about like when a couple events have booked me or said like, are you free this time? Can you come? All right, you're on. What do you want to talk about? This? Okay, cool. And then I just don't hear anything. And I don't know if I've done something karmically, but there must be a little birdie in the fish community that thinks I'm bad juju or something. I don't know. All the clubs that have seen me talk though can let you know what's up, except for Florida, where I got heat stroke and then missed 2 club meetings. That was my finest hour right there. That was really sad. But I might just go to Aquachar or something like that if I can afford it soon enough, But yeah, there's something definitely up with like, I get my foot in the door, meet people organically, and then there's something that has a common denominator that I've kind of worked out, but I don't want to spill the tea. But essentially, I'm not always the best for brand business. Some people don't like when I've been really open about my political beliefs. I don't try to force that on this channel whatsoever, and I want to welcome everyone here. But also, I have said things like, about things being a ripoff or things not being priced right, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't mean any harm by it. Just coming from a fish keeper and somebody who has a lot of friends who are also in the business, it's just, you see things, and like, I'm not gonna like change the way I would speak from amongst my friends to this channel as long as it's not harming anybody in particular that hasn't done anything wrong. So yeah. Snarl deep dives, love that. And Dr. Anthony is in here. Aquazen says, I've never gotten the sense you're overtly political. On this channel, I will say things once in a while like, boy, if we only had universal health care, and that is enough that I got the hackles up of some people who think that makes me a dirty commie, which is funny if you know me personally. I think sometimes even saying anything political once is too much for some people. Yeah. Who should you vote for? I'd vote for a fish this year. Honestly, I think I'd vote for a fish over anybody else. Pick any fish, and I will probably endorse them quicker than most of the humans running around this place. Coro, you're gonna get in trouble yourself there. Oh wow, whoa! I haven't seen this on here before. Coro, hold on. I'm gonna take a screenshot of it so I can like show this later. I'm not even gonna try to take like a screenshot on this thing. But I've never had this pop up right here before. And Coro wrote, universal healthcare is a freedom, not communism. And I have an option to delete/hide comment like I would on normal YouTube. That's wild. I haven't seen that option before in StreamYard. Oh, and my opinion of publishing companies. I get in trouble with that too. Like the fact that I don't like that they charge $40 for articles. And like even to students and stuff. Wow, that's wild. Okay. Yes, I did see that SNL. Cora says I'm too divisive for chat. You're too hot to trot, man. You're getting wild there. It's probably because you said the C word. I didn't know that was a word that YouTube watches now. I thought we were, maybe past 1950. I mean, it didn't like straight up censor you like it will sometimes. I mean, and you guys have seen people pop in here and start spamming the stream. It doesn't censor a lot of things that you'd think it would, yet all of a sudden someone starts talking about reconfiguring the wealth in our society and everybody goes crazy, even if you're joking. Let's get back to fish or else. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the bots have been commenting on my videos a lot lately, and they really actually hurt your analytics. They don't help it. They, because they watch for 31 seconds or whatever it's required to count as a watch, and then they leave, meaning that like the algorithm thinks, oh, that person thought it sucked. And so they don't pass it on. So those bots are awful. And it turns out you can hire bots to attack a specific channel, or I mean that's well known, I guess. But people sometimes even hire fake subscribers to other channels because fake subscribers are so bad for your analytics. It's really wild. Just as an aside, the Pennsylvania governor basically told all the employees under his jurisdiction not to get in online arguments. Yeah, I'm sure every boss everywhere wants that. So, Agent X, that's how I'm going to say it, even if that's not what you mean. Sorry I'm late, y'all. What's up? Well, guys, we've been at this for an hour and a half now, and my back is starting to wear out a little bit. I'm not so good at the sitting. I walk around. I gotta move. I gotta be free, baby. But I'm gonna play with these HabStacks. HabStacks, the best snack in fish food. I don't know. It sounds like something Doritos might have come up with. It's a very clever name. Very, very snappy name. But I'll be playing with these, trying to think of something interesting to show with these. If you guys have any ideas, maybe we'll launch some fireworks out of them. I'm sure that would please the creator. You're a highly paid sub. That's right, Stephen P. I pay good money to have you here. You keep showing up, and you're going to earn that $1.50 a year increase. Passing wind, new friends. What is that thing? Yeah. Well, this thing is it's licensed. It dices. It kills all your no. It's a it's a thing. Can't you tell? It's basically like those little pots where you put strawberries in, except it's for your aquarium, and you can put a tower of power of substrate in the center or root tabs, or you can have rhizome and epiphytic plants in the thing, and it's called HabStacks. You guys should check it out. I put a link to it in my community tab. It's a guy in the UK who's a fish keeper, and Matt's Matt Fish, what is it? Fish Store Matt, his aquarium channel in the UK, about the size of mine. He did a review on it, and the guy over in the UK hit me up last week and was like, "Hey, we're doing a Kickstarter. So if anybody wants to pre-order, will you show this on your channel? Will you make a video about it?" And I heard about it and I said, yes, if it's modular, I will do it. I have a weak point for modular stuff. If it snaps together, if I can put 1 million of them together, it means that Mr. Beast is going to do it at some point, right? Maybe I should say, hey, hit up Mr. Beast, see if he'll buy 10 million of them and snap them together or something. Lee says, just went to order at Moonlight, $50 on a $15 order. Wait, for shipping? Lee, where do you live? And did you go to checkout, or are you reading that at the bottom of the page? Because that is like for a big box of fish usually. But I have not seen it that high unless you're somewhere in like Hawaii. That's wild. It has been, I think, like, well, I know that John, are you still in here? John Monroe, he ordered from like Oregon, and his was not as crazy as like it listed on the website. I should tell him to take that off the website because it scares everyone, because most shipping is like 35 to I think 45 most places now. It's overnight. Talk to the Moonlight Aquatics guy about your location. Oh, yeah, $30 for shipping overnight for John Monroe. So yeah, talk to him if the checkout seems weird or whatever. But yeah, because that's not what the checkout has been for almost anyone, other than a few people that he does ship to Hawaii, which almost nobody does. Yeah, get the guy to fill a pool with HabStacks. That's right. Go jump in and swim with the HabStacks. All right, guys. Well, I gotta go because my wife and I need to eat some food so that I don't wither away into nothingness. I'm sure that's real close to that happening. I could probably go all the way to Findig without eating and still be fat. Danios in space. Yes, the Chinese have sent some Danios up into space. Actually, wait, is that what? No, it's rice fish. Rice fish. Maybe it's probably Danios too. Danios are the thing they put in space the most. But there are, oh yes, there are Danios in lower orbit right now, and they're trying to get them to spawn, and they're in this like acrylic cube because the water has no like right side up. So they're just like in this bubble, and the fish are just like, they look so miserable. I don't know how they get them to spawn in that condition. It might just be that Danios are just that dedicated to getting it on. All right. Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful night, and thank you for being here. Thank you, super chatters, for supering. Thank you, members, for remembering. That's what they call it when you update your membership. It's a remembering. But it's good to see everybody. Much love as always, and I will see you almost certainly Friday, if not before. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I would sing, but I want to play a song that's an instrumental. That's a tough one. I could just put music on and just wait till YouTube crashes the stream. Matt did a great review on the HabStacks. Yeah, definitely cheerleaded the product. I think I worried that some people might think like that he was cheerleading it too much, and that like he knows the guy since they're both over in the UK. But it's like a really cool idea. And now that I have even the 3D printed version, which I'm sure isn't the final concept exactly, I'm like, oh my gosh, they should add this and put a little thing in so you can slide a wall in here and do this. And I mean, yeah. So I hope I don't come off that way. Sometimes people are like, If you're singing, can they get you up for copyright infringement? It's really hard. It's really hard to get you for that, but there are a few bands that are notorious. The Eagles. If you do any version, even like an instrumental where the music is completely different, and sing to the Eagles, they will take your stuff down and give you a strike. And there's like no way to fight it. It's like evil empire stuff, evil eye stuff. Yeah, it's really, really wild, that piece of it. But yeah, very odd. Hold on. Let's see if this will come across as music. Well, if it kicks me out and I lose everything from this stream, oh well. Oh, here we go. I like this. Does he have a label yet? I don't think he does have a label yet, so I'm not gonna worry that it's gonna. Oh, did he get rid of some of his songs though? Let's see here. Well, he's got 3 monthly listeners, so I'm not gonna worry too much that he's got a company that's gonna come after me. But now I can't find his other songs. Let's see. Where is the song that I want to end the night on? Everyone's just leaving. They're like, yeah, get out of here. Shipping is so expensive. Let's see here. Can I access these files? Will they let me sneakily do this? So this guy that I'm gonna play, he is the story behind him is interesting in that he is Lawrence Kent's son. So if you guys know the fabulous ichthyologist Lawrence Kent, see what it does to us here. A 19-year-old kid. And let's wait till the stream just kicks me off, and I'll see you guys later. This is all one kid on his laptop. Lawrence's son, Moses is his name. By the way, he's real Catholic, Lawrence. Also one of my favorite people in the world to watch. Travel the world and collect fish. Go collecting with. But shout out to his son. And I love his music. He's like, is my son's music any good? And I was like, oh my god, I love this album. I'm green, sightsee, whatever I did inside a white tee to a survivor around the time I decided to abide by the Gregorian eyes and tones of you and through what I went through. Maybe you would be picking apart the Bible too. Where does this feather we go when we die? Does it sound all distorted to you guys? You a friend of you with all the peace I'm alive. My mind is on the time reading how you tune to the most highest in the room, shrinking from thinking, why did you do what you did? Homie, call me again. If I call you a friend, I would die for you. And maybe that's allowed when the time comes. I tell you true. When the night comes, lights on, sights on. The vine spinning into a crawl, beheading every pipe and watching over the wall. Oh, it's cutting out. Let's see here. that better? Anyway, have a wonderful night, y'all. Yeah, there's a link to it. Coro just put up if you want to hear good quality. Because I tried to play it this way so that we wouldn't get cut off. Because Spotify will pull it down too. But yeah, there's the link right there. Have a good night, everybody. Much love. Sorry to hurt your ears. What's weird is it sounds great in my headphones and on my mic. Probably sounds garbage the way it like sends it through the internet or something. But I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.